Do you want to talk about how to fill it out or how it's filled? Okay. So, you all know what the ILP is? Individual Learning Plan. One of the goals of this class is to get you to decide which emphasis or concentration you want to focus on, and then to go and meet with the advisor in charge of that program and to sit down and fill out the ILP. ILP is basically a contract between you and the university, especially the department. It says, by the time I graduate, I will have taken these things and I will have earned the Bachelor of Science degree. The ILP is an evolving form. So this is the 2012 one, which is different from the one that preceded it, and there will be a 2013 ILP coming out next year as well, which will have slightly different information on it. Since you can actually fill out any ILP relative to the time you came here, and once you get it signed by the instructor, that's your contract. But you can also fill out or revise your ILP, go from a 2010 to a 2011, 2013, whatever, as long as it's signed by your advisor. Show of hands, how many CD majors in here? Wow. Okay. So there are 5 core classes, or 5 core major learning outcomes that you need to satisfy. You're in the process of satisfying the communication MLO right now because you're in this class. But there are 4 other MLOs that you need to satisfy. You'll notice that most of these are 200 level classes. So you should be taking them soon, if not already. The first one is, or the second MLO is interaction design. This typically was satisfied by CST 201 media tools. Starting next spring, there's a new course that can also satisfy this MLO, which is CST 205, which will be taught by Kate Lockwood, probably. And this class we are recommending for the interaction design students, and not the visual design and not the web design students. So if you're web or visual design, you should stay with 201. But if you're going into interaction design, gaming, and things like that, then this might be a better class for you. You can still take 201 if you want, but there's now a new option. The digital design MLO is satisfied by either 328 digital art design or 351 the web design class. Depending on your emphasis, you should take one of them. So for example, if you are a visual design or a web design student, you should take 328 because 351 is actually required down here. You can't double dip. Okay, I'll talk about that in a second. Programming, choose between 221 or 231, and computing and networking between 236 and 337. If you don't know which one's the best class for you, definitely want to sit down with your advisor and talk about that. Also talk amongst your peers. Most people have taken some of these classes and give you some really good feedback as to which might be the best choice for you. Okay. I'm going to jump to the second page for a bit. You'll notice there are the 3 emphases are listed on the far left. And notice how it's broken down into 2 columns. Okay. This first column, these are classes you have to take if you're in that emphasis. Okay. The second column these are classes you can choose from to round out your program. Okay? So if we go back to the first page of the ILP, you'll notice that there are 5 spaces under emphasis. And in web design, for example, in that far left column, there are 4 classes that are listed that you have to take. So those 4 classes would be the first 4 that you would put in that area. Okay? And then there's 1 space left over and a second area called breadth. There you should choose from the classes in the right side of the column. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay, thank you. Okay, and then finally, there are 2 other areas that you have to satisfy. Ethics. Ethics used to be a ULR for people who are still in the ULR system. So 373 would meet the ethics ULR. Ethics in the new GE system has been combined with the Income B area. So if you're brand new here and you need to satisfy that, you would take your ethics with one of the GE A2 classes that would improve. However, every one of you still needs to take the ethics course, regardless of you're on the new GE system, because it is a department MLO. So you still have to satisfy that in addition to your GE classes. Ethics is taught every semester. There is some significant writing in the class. If you have questions about when's the right time to take ethics, come see me in my office hours and I can tell you, I can give you some advice on that. I would not personally recommend waiting to your last semester to take the ethics course because you'll be doing your capstone then, and it might be too much to have on your plate. Okay. The other course that you need to satisfy, the other MLO you need to satisfy is service learning, upper division service learning. Prior to spring 2013, you had 1 class that you could take, and that was Tech Tutors. Starting next semester, you can now satisfy your service learning requirement with a class called 461S, which is a 2-unit class that gets added on to a 400 level design course. So, for example, if you are a web design emphasis student, you can now satisfy your service learning by taking 461 at the same time you're taking 451, which is the advanced web design class. Okay, and there's a question?
Does that change only for CD or for CSIT readers as well?
CSIT, it's not 461, it's 462. And there are, I don't think there is a 400 level class for every concentration that is doing this. I know networking and security is doing it.
The 462 will work with any 400 level classes either on the CD side or the CSIT side.
No. 461 is for CD students. 462 is for CSIT students. But you can't just take 461 or 462 alone. You always have to take it with another 400 approved course. That's something you should sit down and talk to your advisor with as soon as possible.
One of those courses you have, like courses, like what time
The question was, if I can rephrase the question, what will we be doing in 461 and how is it different from the Tech Tutors class? Can I add that to your question? So the 400 level design classes in CD are all going to be working on either a single or a couple real projects for nonprofit institutions in the local area. So, for example, last semester, the CST 451 web design class, web production class, redesigned the website for the Monterey County Rape Crisis Center. And we'll be doing working for a similar organization this spring. So that would be your service client. If you stay in Tech Tutors, you would probably be working individually at either a school or something like the Boys and Girls Club, some other nonprofit where you'd be training them to use technology to improve their services. Any other questions on service learning? Okay. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the capstone class. So we are in the process of implementing a new policy that says you can't start capstone until you've completed both your 300 and 4-level design courses. So if you're in this class and you're a junior, which is my assumption, you should be in your 300 level design class right now. And next semester you should take your 400 level design course. And then the following fall, you sign up for the first of the capstone classes. And the thinking there is that we don't want you doing capstone until you have the experience and skills and theory to go out and do a capstone well. Does that make sense? Okay. So make sure you take, if you're a CD major, make sure you take your 400 level design class your second semester of your junior year. Question?
So for the 461S, if I take that, does it have to be with like the emphasis 400 level class? Like say I'm a visual design major.
That's a good question. I don't think we've answered it.
The recommendation is that if you have visual design emphasis, the best class is 404 plus 461, but it's not required.
Okay.
You can take any 400 level classes in CD in conjunction with the certificate.
The other new bit of policy, it's not really policy, but something else that's new this year is you now